What's up, I'm Drew. You may not know me, but you should know that Walt Massey Chevrolet is now in Franklinton, Louisiana. That's why I loaded everything up in the bat truck, headed west on Highway 98 to meet up with Brandon Walker. The man's done tons of different things for Walt Massey Automotive Group over the last 27 years. I'm most interested in the connections he's making, the people that'll help in this small town that packs a mighty punch, home to the world's largest free fair. Franklinton, Louisiana is an interesting place, and I can't wait to find out more. It's road trip time, baby, for episode 4 of Drivin with Drew. Brandon Walker, how you doing, sir?
Man, it's great. Great to be here.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Yeah, it is.
What are we in right now? Because this sure isn't an EV.
So, no, this is a 2024 Chevy Silverado Trail Boss, 4-wheel drive, crew cab. Nice truck. Just, we're in truck country, so definitely a good seller for Franklinton and the whole group.
A little bit bigger than my truck. I got the bat truck. I got it from Hattiesburg, actually, from Kubicki. What do you think of Kubicki?
Man, Kubicki loves to talk. It's great. A 2-minute conversation turns into a 30-minute conversation with Kubicki, but it's great. Doing some great things in Hattiesburg. Does a really good job at that store.
All right, so tell me about Franklinton, Louisiana, right? This dealership hasn't always been what it is now, right?
Right. So we recently acquired it mid part of June, and really excited to be here. It's a single point store. It's a Chevy store. And kind of going back to a little bit of history where we started, kind of the flagship of the group is our Lucedale store. It's a city of just over 3,000 people with a county of about 30,000 people. So when I got here and kind of started doing a little more research on Franklinton, it's the same thing. It's an eerie resemblance in population, but it's also got some markets close to us as well that we can draw business from and grow this store. But just a terrific town. It's been a welcoming town. Everybody has kind of welcomed us with open arms. Got a really good relationship with the local schools. The mayor's been great to work with, the newly elected sheriff. So really excited to be in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, what's that like? Because you started in Lucedale, and Walt Massey's got a footprint kind of all over the Gulf South. What's it like to kind of go between the different stores? I always wonder about that because I love Kendra, right? Seeing her here, I've seen her in Columbia, I've seen her in Mariana. What's it like getting to see the different communities and what's different and what's the same?
It's really good. I think the one resemblance is small town USA a little bit. So you've got the store in Lucedale. It's got one high school in there. It's the county seat. It's not real big population wise, but we started that store back in 1991. I started with Walt in 97, been a few 27 short years, selling about 30 cars a month. And there's been times where that store has sold over 200. Was the state champ in Mississippi last year in Chevy and GMC sales. So going to Franklinton with a store, a brand new store, and wanting to get the same result here as we've got in Lucedale, but even our 3 stores in Columbia. Hattiesburg is our biggest town that we're in, but it's a transient town, it's a college town, so there's some different challenges there. And then recently our store last year that we bought, Mariana, Florida is a close-knit community. It's not a big town. It's a little bit bigger than Lucedale and Franklinton. I would say population-wise, it's in comparison to Columbia, but it's a close-knit town. It's got small town values, and it's great to go. That's kind of in our wheelhouse. That's how we operate. We like to win the backyard. We want to do business locally. So over the years at our stores, we've been able to bring in repeat business, and then we've also got the option to go outside and try to find additional sales, and that's where growth comes from. So if you're looking at Lucedale, it's 30 miles west of Mobile. It's 30 miles north of Pascagoula. It's 45 minutes from the coast. And it's the same thing here with Franklinton. You've got Covington, that's about 30 miles south. You've got Hammond. In the parish, you've got Bogalusa to the east of us, which is really a big town too, and a big opportunity to grow this store.
Now you're in a great location, and So first things first, when you come here, where do you go get coffee?
Oh man, there's a great coffee shop, Grindstone Coffee. It's a little coffee shop that we're frequent visitors to. Was actually talking to some teachers at Franklinton High School today, Franklinton Junior High, in the primary school there, and gave away some gift cards.
I asked that because you talk about winning the backyard. I love traveling, whether it's like a crazy exotic place or a small town USA. It's interesting to meet the people. And the best way to meet people is to go where they're holding court, where there's men over the age of 50 having coffee. I'm gonna find out what a town is about, sitting at that table.
Right.
So, where are the other local hangs around here?
Man, awesome Cafe Boucher is awesome menu. Got lunch specials, different things like that. Been there a couple times. But there's definitely some neat restaurants and different places to go. Sugar Shack is right up the road, and they offer a great lunch menu as well. For me, if I'm working, it's hard for me to take off and go buy something. And it's kind of the same way as you mentioned. You have to kind of go see the customers, go out to their businesses, be able to talk about how business is going, what vehicles, what specials we have to offer. And it's nothing like pulling up and going in and talking to people that do business with you. I mean, that's an awesome feeling. You know each other on a first name basis, and it's a familiar face.
Well, and I think a lot of people too, they want to know, like, what's the secret to business success or expanding your business. And like, man, just being nice and making people feel good is really underrated. I feel like, like it's yeah, sure, it's about numbers and it's about achievements, but it's really way more about how people feel when they're around you.
It's relationships, and it's the experience that you give someone when they visit a store. What experience are you going to sell to the customer or to a potential customer that the competitor down the road is not going to do? What are you going to do differently than the competition or what someone else can offer? And that's one thing from a logistics standpoint. If you're in a small town, there's some customers that you deal with outside of small towns that may not visit here. And sometimes you have to take vehicles to them, or you have to do things in order to get business in front of them. So that's a lot of times reaching out, taking a vehicle to a customer to test drive, and convenience. But it's all about building that relationship and making sure that when they choose to transact with you or do business with you, that you offer the best experience out there.
I love asking people this. You've been with Walt Massey for 27 years. The only thing I've done for 27 years in a row is like eat, sleep, and breathe. What's the key to longevity? It doesn't have to be specific to your industry. I prefer the more general you can get, the better. What's the key to longevity? What's the key to consistency and doing something for that long and doing it obviously well? You're doing something right.
I think I work for a great owner. It says a lot about some of our long tenured employees that we have in the group. We've got some new employees, of course, with the new stores, but we've got some people that have been around 25 and 30 years. And, to be able to be a part of that for 27 years, I'm sure is a lot of patience on Walt's part. He's a third generation dealer, Walt and Christy Massey. And then they've got two children, Peyton and Laurel Massey, that are fourth generation, that are part of the organization as well. It just says a lot for the employer, and kind of buying into his vision and what he wanted to do when he came to Lucedale and to grow it. He was one of the, first dealers to really get on the internet, internet side of things, and want to be able to market to customers over the internet. And, that was kind of our claim to fame. That's how we were able to grow the Lucedale store, was being able to transact with customers via internet, and being able to really grow and have a shared vision of wanting to grow this thing as big as we possibly could. So, there's been peaks and valleys. There's been good times, bad times with any business, but it's always seemed like we've had a constant owner that has wanted to grow and wanted to share the vision with a group of people, and fortunately we've been able to do that and be successful with it.
The fourth generation's coming up, but I know that Peyton Massey will not be a spokesperson because he's not a spokesperson.
Hey folks, I'm no advertising spokesperson.
That's right. Peyton is on our commercials. Was able to, am able to work with Laurel Massey, and we're doing some things on social media, doing some things helping market some of our employees. So she's a huge help as far as that goes. But yeah, Peyton has been around kind of in a couple different positions, but he is in our Lucedale store, and just awesome to see him come along. I mean, you're getting old when you see someone that you remember being born, and now they're working alongside in the organization, and being part of it and wanting to kind of carry the torch and the legacy and continue it for years to come. So it's just an awesome feeling to be a part of, but you do feel old too. So
man, these fairgrounds, this is cool.
Man, I come out here and had a couple meetings and stuff, and I just am trying to envision 300,000 people.
Yeah, me too.
It's just, even if you divide it, 5 days, 60,000 people. Parking is probably the biggest struggle, and you can see that. I think I'm probably just gonna park 3 miles down the road or something, but it's a huge celebration. It's a huge party where they like to get together and, have good food, entertainment, and really show off what they've been able to do for quite some time. From what I understand, there's campers just as far as you can see. It's always held in October, so I'm sure it's not going to be as warm as it is today. But this is a 112th annual fair. It's from October the 16th through the 20th.
Wow. Armory and community center.
Yeah.
It's an armory.
That's right.
As well as a community center,
right.
just
Whatever's
to be
needed.
very clear.
So this is the main stage. I swear I've saw drone footage from last year, and then on each side to the left and right is where, they'll have big screens, but there are people that are packed in here. Just, you can't fit another person in for the entertainment. And this is pretty much throughout the day. So they've got another stage over to the right that'll have more entertainment going on, musical acts. And then over to the left is kind of like a step back in time a little bit. It's called the Mile Branch Settlement. They've got all kinds of different things, different foods, and you get to go in the old general store and cabins and different things like that.
Bankston General Store and U.S. Post Office. Okay, that's a time capsule right there.
And then over to the right is kind of the community center where most of your businesses have tents, have booths, different things that you can come by and buy merchandise. And man, it's still tough to envision putting this many people in, I wouldn't say a small area. This is a big spread out area, but it's going to be awesome to see.
350,000 people is a lot of people.
It is, man. It really is.
Well, we talked about this briefly, not to throw shade at anyone, but there wasn't a lot of trust in the dealership before you took over. What are you doing to instill trust? Basically just let people know that you're here for them.
I think the biggest thing is getting out and kind of visiting with the customers, building relationships, letting them know that, hey, all we can ask for is an opportunity. I can promise you the experience that you're going to get here is going to be so much better than you can get traveling outside the parish, outside of Franklinton, or what you may have experienced previously. So our experience is going to be one that is going to be centered around the customer. We're going to do right by the customer. If there's a problem, things aren't always, vehicles don't always operate for 500,000 miles. There's issues and different things that come up, but, reassuring them, look, just give us an opportunity and you're going to love the experience that you get whenever you visit our store, whether it's sales, whether it's service, whether it's parts, we're going to take care of you. They didn't like the experience they were getting previously. They didn't feel like, they were being valued as a customer. So that's one thing that we want to change, and we're going to change. We operate differently and try to give the customer as good of experience as they're possibly going to get, or a better experience than anywhere else.
Tell me about your team, because the dealership, man, looks great. Building's real nice. It bright and welcoming. You can smell the popcorn when you walk in the door.
I'm really excited about our team. So Jonathan Nall, who has been with the group now for a couple years, worked at our Crystal Springs store, even our Columbia store, and now our general manager here at Franklinton, lives in Macomb, so about 45 minutes away, but he actually played baseball, spent some summers over here in the early part of his life. So really familiar with the area. Everybody knows Miss Emily. She's been there forever with the previous group. About our sales staff is a local staff that has relationships in the community or lives just a few miles from the store. Really excited about our fit stops in service. Trenton Cooley, who has came from our Columbia store over here. You know, one thing about those two guys that I mentioned with Nall and Trenton and Preston McConnell and some of our staff there is they're younger staff that wants to grow, that wants to help grow this thing as big as we possibly can. So I'm excited to see them and their energy and wanting to share the vision and growing this store as big as we possibly can.
I feel like Walt Massey's a pretty big deal, right? With as many stores as you have. And I think a lot of people would be more than happy with that kind of footprint. And I'm not saying there's no gratitude there, but are you like satisfied with that? Is that, are you just good? You're just going to maintain, or what's next?
Never really content, always wanting to grow. You know, just a few short years ago, you know, we had a store in Lucedale and we had a couple stores in Andalusia, Alabama. You know, and now we're talking with 9 stores, you know, spread across the campuses that we've had. You know, Stephen Gerald, who is our CEO, has came on board and helped grow this and shares the same vision as Walt and his family and staff. You know, and we continue to acquire stores. I think the best example is kind of building an airplane as we're flying. So you go from, you know, 1 or 2 stores and boom, we're up to 9. And now we're talking about adding a 10th and 11th. We want to be at 15 or more stores in a couple years. You know, it's a good opportunity to get in the business and to acquire more stores. You know, and I think the long game is we're just not content where we're at. You know, one thing that we've been able to do in Hattiesburg is Hattiesburg has been a state champ in Chevrolet sales for the state of Mississippi. You know, 2 years now. We mentioned Lucedale. Lucedale's been around so long. They were state champs for Chevy and GMC last year. But, you know, we moved into Louisiana here, and for Franklinton, we want Franklinton to be the #1 dealer in Louisiana. We want Mariana, Chevy GMC, Mariana Nissan to be the top dealers in Florida. That's a big task. That's a lot of growth that's got to take place, but we've proven that we can do it at a couple stores already, and, you know, we're not content till we can get every store there. So, you know, yeah, definitely acquiring stores, want to have 15 or 20 stores, you know, I think is, you know, I get put out to pasture one day or talk about retirement or different things like that. You know, I just want to, I guess, leave the group, you know, better than whenever I started. Something that you want to look back on and be proud of the accomplishments. And, you know, for Walt Massey as our owner, and Christy Massey and Peyton and Laurel, all the way back to Mr. James Massey and Miss Faye Massey, Walt's parents, Walt's grandfather, you know, he's always had that vision to make this thing as big as it possibly could be, you know, and to see that going now into a 4th generation, that's unheard of. You don't hear anybody that is in 4th generation.
Only time I ever hear like 4th generation's like something on Game of Thrones, or like a blacksmith, 4th generation Smith. You're like, it's not, you don't hear that anymore.
You don't. I was talking to someone a couple weeks ago, you know, about it, and you just don't hear of it.
Well, I really appreciate you having me down here. This is killer. This truck is so much fun to drive. If you're in the market for a new truck, you know where to go.
That's right.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it.
Man, it's been great. It's good to get out and show everyone Franklinton. One big reason to come to Franklinton is Walt Massey Chevrolet. We're here, want to be a part of the community, and looking forward to growing here in Louisiana. So Walt Massey Chevrolet in Franklinton, place to be. Would love an opportunity to earn your business.
It's only fair. You get it? Because fair, and there's a fair, you get it.
That's
you
right.
got it. You, especially if you're from here.
300,000 people in 5 days. 1,200 vehicles to choose from.
Those are the 2 numbers.
That's right.
350,000, 1,200.
That's right.
People, vehicles.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know.
And one choice.
Until next time.
Man, it's been great. Enjoyed it. Thanks, Drew.
Yeah, thank you, man.